77% of respondents, including 65% of Democrats, said Joe Biden is too old to be president. If he's reelected, the president would be 82 when he begins a second term. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Help wanted ads in New York will have to disclose how much jobs pay under a new salary transparency law, the statewide initiative going into effect today. It's already been in effect in New York City since 2022. This is SRN News.
Over the last few weeks at my house, we've been reorganizing, and I've discovered, like millions of Americans, I still own movies on old VHS videotapes. And if you do too, listen up. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by NetSuite. Right now, you can get NetSuite's popular KPI checklist absolutely free at netsuite.com/Kim. If you find a stash of VHS tapes, you may have one that's very valuable. Most aren't, but a great copy of Back to the Future is worth $1,000 on eBay. So is the more recent Fast and Furious. Taxi Driver sells for around $1,500, as does Disney's Dumbo. But the Goonies can sell for as much as $4,000, and Freddy Krueger, killing everyone he can find in A Nightmare on Elm Street, is worth up to $5,000. Now, to get top dollar, the video and box must be in great condition. If the cellophane wrapper is still on the box, it's a gold mine. And in the last few years, VHS collectors have spent over $3 million on eBay. Get tech smart every single day at getkim.com. If your business is scrambling to close the books on time each month, then you should know these three numbers: 36,000, 25, and 1. To start, 36,000 businesses have already upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. And this year, NetSuite is celebrating their 25th anniversary. That's 25 years of helping businesses do more with less, close books in days, and drive down costs. And finally, that #1, because your business is one of a kind. NetSuite offers customized solutions for all your KPIs in one efficient system. It's one source of truth to manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Everything you need, all in one place. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist, designed to give you consistently excellent performance, absolutely free at netsuite.com/Kim. That's netsuite.com/Kim to get your own KPI checklist. netsuite.com/Kim.
Life is so confusing. I wish I had someone to talk to about tough stuff, you know? Like, I've heard drinking is bad, but I don't really know why. Not a lot of my friends do it, but the media makes it seem like all teenagers drink and do drugs. Talk to me, Dad. I can handle it. I'm in it to win it.
If you need tips to start the talk, turn to Central Florida Behavioral Health Network at cfbhn.org today. Sponsored by your managing entity, Central Florida Behavioral Health Network Incorporated, and the State of Florida Department of Children and Families.
The latest from AccuWeather at the top and bottom of the hour. Only on AM 860, The Answer.
Intervals of clouds and sun today with widely separated thunderstorms. It'll be humid with a high of 89. Patchy clouds tonight, a thunderstorm in a couple of spots, low 79. Clouds and sun tomorrow with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, mainly later. Tomorrow's high 93. Get your weather news when and how you want it, wherever you are. Download our free app or visit AccuWeather.com. That's your AccuWeather forecast. I'm Drew Shannon for AM 860, The Answer.
The following program was pre-recorded for broadcast at this time.
At Dream It Real Estate, we're a different kind of real estate company. We embolden our clients to dream their biggest dreams and partner with us to make those dreams come true. Our emphasis is on team building with clients who become friends for a lifetime. For more information, please go to dreamitrealestate.co or call or text James DeFreitas at 727-254-7127. Dream It Real Estate is always encouraging our clients to dream big with us today.
Why choose Stafford Tree Service? Is it because they're experienced, have the latest equipment, and friendly professional personnel? Absolutely. Stafford's positioned themselves as a leading tree trimming company in all of Tampa Bay. With honest professionals and competitive pricing, they'll earn your trust too. In business for over 15 years, Stafford Tree Service is licensed, bonded, and insured to provide you the very best tree trimming experience. Call today, 727-546-8786, 727-546-8786. On the web at staffordtreesvc.com.
Biophilia, our innate attraction to other living things. It's why people love plants. And around Tampa Bay, Plants, that's PLANTZ, is bringing nature inside, in workspaces and homes by delivering beautiful foliage plants. Our plants increase oxygen and filter out pollutants, reducing stress and improving productivity. And get you in touch with your biophilic side. Go to plantz.us.
Dennis Prager here with a suggestion on adding luxury to your life. Add coronacigar.com to your favorites and go there often. Their selection of premium cigars, humidors, and accessories is unequaled. Shop for premium brands: Drew Estate, Rocky Patel, Padron, Davidoff, Punch, Florida Sun-Grown, Cohiba. If you like to shop for limited editions, then coronacigar.com is the place for you. The Drew Estate's 20-acre farm with Florida Sun-Grown tobacco is a great example. Since coronacigar.com is a member of the Tobacco Association of America, they receive newly released cigars available to only a handful of retailers. So how about upgrading your humidor? That's what I did. This site is also a great reference for fun and exciting cigar events. Check it out. Enjoy fast, free shipping with orders of over $100. coronacigar.com, coronacigar.com.
And a big good morning to you as we start off another edition. This is the 17th, September 17th. This is live. Actually, I heard something that says this was a recorded show, but this is live. If you have a question today, give me a call. I'm going to say this is kind of my swan song. This is my last live broadcast. We've got a couple in the can. They're going to go up through October 1st, but I've enjoyed being here. It's some of the greatest folks I've worked with in radio right here at AM 860, The Answer. So I want to say that first off for anyone out there who's wanting to have a show sometime. I would definitely work with a crew here. They are great, from Joe to Steve and all the staff members, my producers, Ken. Everybody that I've worked with here has just been great. Anyway, we're here today. I'm going to probably switch into doing more video podcasts, which we've done in the past. And you can go to see some of those at ASKMR Greentuhmb.com, and you'll see some of our, well, not only radio, which we've done here, but also some television, which we did for our last 2 seasons on CBS. And of course, I don't have all the recordings before that, but I did 12 years on PBS. We had a Mr. Green Thumb show there. So I worked as an extension horticulturist for about 8 years with the Extension Service, rising to being a supervisor. And I was a urban horticulturist. So, still am. Still working with plants. I'm still a certified arborist. Still look at some trees. Today, typically, we drive out and look at the tree. James often does the injection part for me. And you have heard my son with me. It's been a pleasure to do radio with my son. It's one of the gifts that I will always look forward or backward to. But if you have a question, you have a comment about the show, or your plant, your tree, your shrub, your grass that's doing well or not doing so well, give me a call either at 877-969-8600 or locally anywhere in Tampa Bay, 813-289-1860. That's 813-289-1860. I think near the bottom of the hour, I'm going to have my old director, Ken Cherry, who I used to give a hard time on my show on PBS. Ken was kind. He would sometimes ask me questions, but I used to call him, of course, to the audience, the Darth Vader of the gardening world, because he killed half of the plant material he said he grew. How you doing, Ken?
I'm doing well, sir. How about you?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you with me here as well on this kind of being my last live show. But
kind of sad.
Yeah, in a way. I've been doing this since around 1977, so I guess over 45 years or so. That I've been working in radio. At one point, I had a national show with about 100 stations, and I always thought it was fun. I had a station in Dover, New Hampshire, and the lady would call me every week. She'd call in a half hour early, and just to make sure she was on hold first. And she would go, "Don't do too much gardening, but I like talking to the gardening guy." She said, "It's about 12 degrees up here." And I'd go, "Well, it's cold down in Florida. We're down about 85, having one of our cold spells." And it was great. She'd send me pictures of her cat socks and some of her plants and stuff. Of course, I imagine up in Dover, New Hampshire, through much of the year, it would be icy snow and cold, but they seem to really relish their gardens during the time that they can. And I guess you know a little bit about that since you've lived in Chicago.
Yeah, you get it done while you can, exactly.
And so you almost have more appreciation, I think, for things.
Probably. Especially spring. You have a real appreciation for spring.
For spring, yeah.
In the northern climates, yeah.
I just think, everything starts to bloom and you're so sick of ice and driving on ice and being in ice and cold. And I was up in Chicago one time. It was in June and it was still cold in the morning.
They've had snow in June.
I thought, my gosh, here it would be maybe in January we get near a freeze or two. Not that we've had them here really in the last few years.
This may be a different year. I don't know if you've been following what NOAA is saying and all that.
What are they saying?
This we have a combination of a couple things going on, but the big one is the La Nina taking place in the Pacific right now, and that apparently brings cold and wet weather for the winter to Florida every time it shows up.
La Nina.
Yeah, so we may be having very cold winter.
Not the La Nino, but La Nina.
La Nina, yeah.
All right, so that means.
So what should we plant? What should we plant for a cold winter?
Well, some things down here like it really cold. I think it's one of our best growing seasons. Broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage.
Now, give me something I can eat.
Yeah, I was going to say, you have to get you on one of those pills that have all the vegetables in there. It's good to have all those veggies because
it is. You put cheese on it, it's wonderful.
Yeah, I was going to say, nice dip, and you can use that broccoli or cauliflower. I've grown, cauliflowers are as big as a basketball. I've raised 57-pound pumpkins, 1-pound tomatoes. Used to do a whole lot more of that at my other garden in Clearwater when I lived there for a long time. I called it my starter home that I never left for 20-some years. And, I'm not the typical real estate agent that moves every 6 months because you can. I know a lot of my fellow compatriots do, and I've always hated that idea. I just hate the idea of moving. But and I've been in Oldsmar now for a good long time.
Nobody likes moving.
No. But you can still. I'd put out things like, do you like tomatoes, peppers? They can do well. We're probably. There was an old guy that used to do a series of books, and he was quite intelligent, named Lewis Maxwell. And Lewis would always say he'd come by and see us at the Extension Service and bring in some of his little newsletters. And he would say, "Look, you don't plant a garden until October." And I said, well, that seems a little late. And he goes, well, it's a thing called hurricanes. and I thought, well, it made sense, because I was always wanting, when I was young and particularly, I'd want to jump the gun. I wanted to start putting seeds in the ground in September. And the problem is the bugs are still there, the fungi is still there, and that can be a problem. So I would say now is the time to get your soil ready. If you want to solarize it, you should have already probably done that. But you can put a little plastic tarp over it, black or clear even, probably black, and it'll hold more heat. So you can use the solar idea to help kill some of those nematodes and bacteria and fungi. You might want to improve the soil, and I would have mentioned one of my old sponsors, but since they're not with me, I won't.
Okay.
I would add some good old Michigan peat or Canadian peat or Florida peat. If you can get some organic material, add it to the garden. Remember that ideally we want about a 25% air and water and soil, and we want, organic matter and mineral. So we want a nice friable soil. Typically our Florida sand doesn't have much in it. It doesn't hold moisture very well. So that's one of the reasons I've either gone to boxes or raised gardens. You can make your own raised garden. I've had some that I've purchased over the years, and I still use some of those. But you can simply make your own, raised box. There's nothing out of the ordinary. At one point, I was even using one of the recycle bins they didn't use anymore from the city. And I thought, put a hole in the bottom, which you can, and put a little tube in there for putting water into it, and you basically have your own little grow box. I do believe in getting a good soil. So buying a soil, often I will buy some bagged soil. I will add some peat. I'll add some organic matter. I enjoy growing some of the veggies. And I know there's some pitfalls and there's some problems, but that's one of the reasons I raise the avocados, and I've got carambolas, and I've got bananas. And I like to grow a lot of edible stuff. And for me, it's just fun. I mean, I'm raising some of my own stevia. Not many people are doing that because I like cutting off a leaf or two and putting that in my coffee or tea. I like trying to be as organic as you can be, and that's always fun. So let me give you those numbers. If you want to give me a holler on my last live, this is the 17th and of course it's Sunday. 1-877-969-8600. You can say howdy or bye. And or you can be like the senator of Pennsylvania, and you can say hi and bye in the same time. 813-289-1860. How proud they must be. Anyway, that's another talk for another time. But we're here to talk about real estate. We've been. My son has Dream at Real Estate. At the break, okay. We will tell you that if you want to give us a call, we give out the numbers one more time: 813-289-1860, and you stay with us as the Plant Talk continues.
Mark your calendar for an unforgettable evening of insight and inspiration. AM 860 and Wired Differently proudly present Countdown to Election 2024 with nationally acclaimed Salem talk show hosts Mike Gallagher, Dennis Prager, and Sebastian Gorka. Live Tuesday, November 14th at the prestigious T. Pepin's Hospitality Center in Tampa. Join us for a VIP reception starting at 5:30 p.m., followed by the main event at 7. And get ready for an engaging and thought-provoking discussion on the issues that fully matter with pivotal topics that will shape the 2024 election, and a special guest appearance by the visionary CEO of Wired Differently, Todd Saylor. Experience a once-in-a-lifetime VIP meet and greet session with Mike Gallagher, Dennis Prager, and Sebastian Gorka in person, plus an exclusive book signing by Todd Saylor. Be among the first to own his latest book, Your Will Be Done. That's Countdown to Election 2024, November 14th. Get tickets now at theanswertampa.com. That's theanswertampa.com. Brought to you by Wired Differently.
The following program was pre-recorded for
Mr.
broadcast at this
Greentuhmb
time.
can come to your house and examine your plants, trees, and palms. His knowledge can help you become the envy of your neighborhood with lush, green, healthy trees that don't just live, but thrive. Palms and oak trees are part of what makes Florida a beautiful place to live, but they get diseases and are often cut down. We offer ways to save your trees. Call or text Stan today at 727-423-4794 or go online to askmrgreenthumb.com. That's ASKMR Greenthumb.com.
And we're back, Stan.
And Ken, it's ask. People can go to some of my videos. You can still contact me. People sent me some pictures last week of their plants and trees. I've got a little button. You can send the picture to me, or you can call me, 727-423-4794. Don't call me right now because I'm on the air. 727-423-4794 is my cell number. If you have a problem where you need to send me some pictures, I really like it when you send me pictures because then I can tell what's going on better, especially if it's your trunk of the tree or you've got some pock marks on that trunk. Looks like somebody's been shooting your tree with BBs, then you've got some borers. We can help give them their last supper in a biblical sense. So we do that all the time. We inject trees, and a lot of the arborists, say, hey, if we can keep the tree alive, we can come back and trim that tree 10 times in the next 10 years. If we cut it down once, it's just a one-time hit wonder. So keeping those trees alive is good. So how are things going in Sun City Center, Ken?
Oh, I tell you, my weeds are as green as ever.
Well, that is important. We want to, I even look at weeds and I go, okay, they're a weed. But they are giving off oxygen. They are taking in carbon dioxide. So as much as we all don't like weeds, sometimes I think I just say, hey, take a chill pill. I get people, somebody wrote me recently and said, you should be telling people to put in more ground covers and get rid of more grass. And I said, well, fine, I can understand that. A lot of people. But if you've got kids and you want to throw the football back and forth, it's easier to throw it back and forth when there's grass out there or even weeds than in through the ground covers. But, I guess you can always do it in the street and hope the cars don't come.
Well, that's the way we used to do it in Chicago.
I was going to say, in Chicago, you were probably old enough, Ken, that you had that not a bat but a stick ball. But
no, we were my generation was purely bats.
Purely bats.
I'm not that old.
Me too. Okay. Well, I was going to say, I was really proud as a kid. I had a Stan Musial bat because Stan the man Musial.
Stan the man. That's right.
And God, I think I batted around 500. Not to brag, but I had like the best batting average on my little league team and the most stolen bases.
Well, you're fast, too. Well, you talked about your running skills as a youngster.
As a youngster, yeah, I used to run 11-second 100, 23-second 220, 202 half. I know all my times. I'm like Al Bundy. I can give you all my glory times of what I did. But
if you could catch a football, you'd make $1 million. Well, you make $20 million.
Well, matter of fact, I was only like about $140 in high school. The coach came by. I was faster than his leading ground gainer on the football team. He came out and put shoes and helmet in my locker and said, "You're ready." And I went, "I don't know, Coach. I mean, these guys are 230 pounds. I'm 140. It doesn't look like a real even deal." He says, "But if you're really fast, they'll never catch you." And I said, "Yeah, they're going to catch you sometime." And so I wasn't sure. I should have probably stayed with baseball. That was probably the sport I was the best at. Found out when I was 10. My grandmother's cousin was Ty Cobb. And
it's in your blood then.
So it was in my blood. Yeah, I could, running, the bases and stuff was instinctive for me. And you can imagine if I could run 11-second 100, I could run the bases faster than 90% of the pros you see out there today.
That's right. That's right. Exactly. You could have had quite a career. And baseball careers, they last 15, 20 years sometimes. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
So you would have slowed down, I would think.
I would think that might have happened. I always thought I liked, when we had KK on the team, out in center field, he would get to almost any ball hit out there because he's quick. Now I see guys going, well, we're going to have to wait for the thing to hit and bounce, and then we'll get it. And I thought, he was probably the best defensive center I've ever seen. His hitting was maybe not always quite up to what we'd hoped for center field.
Yeah, but how many times have you seen somebody dive for a ball?
Oh.
And it goes all the way to the wall and 3 runs score.
But he can. But with KK, he always got it because he was fast enough to get there. Yeah, if you're not sure, then you're in trouble, and you better hope your other fielder's coming in behind you.
Yeah, you might be wiser to wait for the bounce.
I guess, but I'm always one.
I always did, and that's why I'm not a ball player today, probably.
Because you were the guy you were diving, and
I wasn't the diving guy. No,
you weren't the diving guy. Okay,
let the ball come to me.
Let it hit there.
Well, then have a nice career in radio, son.
Well, see, and then I'm sure you've heard the old joke. You had a great face for radio, but I used to even in television when we did TV. Our last show we did was on CBS, and we were sponsored by Scott's Miracle Grow. But we actually, in numbers, beat CBS News locally. We beat CBS out of New York. We beat Face the Nation. We beat CSI and Rerun, and we beat the NFL Today in numbers. Because I would go to my old buddy Bill Diaz and say, "Hey, don't tell me the numbers because it's hard for me to understand the numbers, but tell me who we beat." And he would come out with a list, and I'd send that on to the sponsors, and they were all jingly when I did. But it's hard. Radio's changed, TV's changed.
Yeah.
The whole gamut of what I started in. We did years. I worked with Jack Harris on Channel 13, and of course at another station as well. I worked with Jack, worked with Ted, worked with a whole lot of folks. I always enjoy when we have our old oldsters get together for our radio reunion, which we usually do about once a year. It's fun to see many of the people that I've known, and some of them, of course, had bigger careers than I did in radio because they were at it every day doing it. I was sort of the utility pitcher that came in and hit the weekends. Occasionally with Jack, I used to go in and do like a weekly segment. I think it was every Tuesday. And we used to give away a little small box of fertilizer if we used your question. And gosh, I would get 1,000 questions coming in. Yeah, literally.
I want the fertilizer.
We want the fertilizer. So I do think that it's kind of like Doc giving away his coffee cup. All of a sudden people go, yeah, I want the, Bill Handelman coffee cup. And we did that on occasion, too. In fact, I ran out of the old cups that I'd had from years back, but I was doing that for a while here on the station, too. And that was always fun. So... you're going to find that now it's your place you've got Bermuda grass. Well, your weeds will continue to grow. The Bermuda will start to slow down as we go into the longer night, shorter day. And
I think there's some Bermuda, allegedly. I don't know. I haven't really seen any lately.
Well, yeah.
That's how many weeds I have.
That's how long I've not been into Sun City Center in a long time, but I used to have a few customers occasionally over there, and I'd go over and treat some trees. We had one lady that had a nice holly, and she had some Sphaeropsis, which is called witch's broom. we weren't sure. And I said, look, there's no real registered control for that. You have to cut it out. I said, but we could try some fungal injections. And she was up for it. We tried some fungal injections. It seemed to help. But I was saying, look, I want to be brutally honest. This is not necessarily, there's nothing to back up that this is going to work. But if you want to try it, and she really loved her holly, so we did. And we treated it a number of times, and it seemed like her holly started coming around looking better. But I also injected some fertilizer, which also probably helped put out new growth. One of the things we do with oak trees or pines is we'll put some fertilizer nutrients. We have a low-dose fertilizer that we can inject into the tree, and that will help to give the tree more oomph. Now, you can say, well, trees would normally get their fertilizer from the ground, from leaves and things breaking down. But since there isn't a forest situation where everything's breaking down like it might, in a forest situation, most of the stuff's being carted off or blown away. And so you're not really getting the recycling process around your trees like you might. So I am a big one. If your tree is in injury, I think that some fertilizer often helps, as I think having complete nutrition in people is important. And so, we all know we need our, proteins and carbohydrates and things of that nature. If you can get organic, I like to try to grow and eat organic. One of the reasons I've grown broccoli and cauliflower and stuff, because I like it, especially the broccoli with a nice cheese sauce or cauliflower with a nice dip. Now that kind of maybe defeats the process just a bit, but makes it more enjoyable to me. But anyway, we can talk a little bit about that. We can talk about fall's a good time for color. Often I will put out some annuals this time of year. You can put out marigolds, petunias, impatiens in the shade. Somebody asked me last week, what could grow in the shade? Well, impatiens will grow in the shade. Certainly any of the ferns grow in the shade, and they're not going to give you a lot of color. If you want some color in leaves, you can put out crotons. They'll give you some nice color. They'll take partial shade. So there are some plants, some of the plants that kind of cross over into the house plants, like aglaonemas, have a nice white spathe flower. You can put those in too. And you could also have, I'm trying to think, some of the caladiums or a bulb. We don't think of bulbs too much for Florida, but they'll have a nice coloration in the foliage too. So we'll have the red and white in the leaf or green and white in the leaf. Those can be kind of attractive. You can use those as a border plant if you wish. Crinum lilies will take some shade. They often have a nice white flower that has a nice fragrance at night, kind of like the night blooming jasmine, which can almost be overpowering. But we have that. I know we'll have news coming up, I guess, here after a little bit.
Yeah, a couple minutes.
A couple minutes from now. And, of course, Ken, you help with the news locally often with the great Roger P. Schultz.
Yeah, I sat in for Roger all week. That's always fun.
Roger is a great guy. I think you were blessed here to have Roger P. Helping the station sound as good as it does. And, Ken, you do a good job. I hear you from time to time tagging in there, so kudos to you as well.
Well, thank you. It's fun to be doing. I did news for 30 years up in Chicago, so it's fun to go back into it for a week.
So are you one of those old guys that likes to rip and read in the old days?
I used to do a lot of rip and read, but I'm your guy who's out City Hall, police departments, covering meetings, things like that, did all that stuff.
In the old days, often I would see the guys in the news would be ripping off, stories off the AP and stuff, and it would be, today I guess everything's done on the computer, but in the old days they'd actually have machines typing stuff out and coming in.
Yeah, that's right.
And
they were loud and noisy. And
that kind of dates you and I just a bit for folks who are in the radio business.
I got an AP flash on one of those machines once saying the Berlin Wall has come down. I didn't believe it.
You thought it was
I thought it was some sort of mistake, so I didn't do it right away. But by the time the third flash came down, I figured, well, this must be really happening.
Are you saying President, that you were saying, as Ronnie said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear
down
that
the wall. He did.
And for if we had a man like that today, huh?
How about some news, Dan?
Let's go to the news.
Very good, we will.
60 The Answer. Listen on our website, The Answer Tampa. 3.7 FM. W229DJ Dunedin. By downloading the Answer Tampa app or on TuneIn or Odyssey. Here's the latest from the Answer News Center.
SRN News, I'm Michael Harrington in Washington. President Biden's advanced age continues to be a major concern for voters.
Responding to a question about the president's age, the White House press secretary joked recently that 80 is the new 40. But Mr. Biden's age and fitness for office is no laughing matter for Americans. According to a new Reuters Ipsos poll, 77% of respondents, including 65% of Democrats, said Joe Biden is too old to be president. If he's reelected, the president would be 82 when he begins a second term. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Help wanted ads in New York will have to disclose how much jobs pay under a new salary transparency law, the statewide initiative going into effect today. It's already been in effect in New York City since 2022. This is SRN News.
At Dream It Real Estate, we're a different kind of real estate company. We embolden our clients to dream their biggest dreams and partner with us to make those dreams come true. Our emphasis is on team building with clients who become friends for a lifetime. For more information, please go to dreamitrealestate.co or call or text James DeFreitas at 727-254-7127. Dream It Real Estate is always encouraging our clients to dream big with us today.
This is Mike Gallagher. Sign up today for an unforgettable experience in Israel this October. Dennis Prager and I are traveling to the Holy Land on the Stand with Israel tour with our trusted partner, Inspiration Cruises and Tours. This is a trip of a lifetime. You don't want to miss it. Register today before it's too late. Visit standwithisraeltour.com, standwithisraeltour.com, or call 855-565-5519, 855-565-5519. And together, let's stand with Israel.
This decade is looking like the worst one to retire or be retired in. Now more than ever, you need to stay ahead of turbulent markets and money-grubbing politicians. That's why you need Bob Carlson's Retirement Watch. For more than 30 years, Bob Carlson's Retirement Watch has been helping Americans invest, protect, and grow their assets. A Retirement Watch subscription gives you must-have advice on all aspects of your retirement. Independent advice you won't get anywhere else. When you subscribe to Retirement Watch, you'll get 3 months of Bob Carlson's Retirement Watch newsletter. You'll also get Bob's 5 model portfolios and 5 free reports, including the hidden rules of retirement, hidden real estate tax bumps to avoid, cashing in on Congress's $350,000 retirement shocker, plus 2 more free reports, and an exclusive conference call with Bob Carlson answering your retirement questions. The newsletter, free reports, the conference call, all for just $19.95. Sign up today at yourretirementwatch.com. Yourretirementwatch.com. That's yourretirementwatch.com.
The following program was pre-recorded for broadcast at this time.
Of course, we are with you, and it is not pre-recorded. This is a live show, and I believe my old director, I chatted with him the other day, Ken Cherry, and I said, why don't you give me a call and we can chit-chat a little bit about what we did in television for, I think I was on for about, not all with Ken, but we did about 12 years. Ken, are you with me? Let's see if he is there. I think he is there. See if we can pull him up. And I don't hear him yet, but we will. Is he there? Mr. Ken. Ken Cherry. All right. Well, we'll probably go back and hit that with a hammer and make sure we all are on the same page. And are you there, Ken? Nope. Okay. Well, we know he's there. We're having problems. The 3-door down studio idea never really worked, and it still doesn't work. And you can tell, Joe, that I didn't think it worked when I first started, and it doesn't work today. But
should be working. I'm looking at my stuff here. It should be working. So.
Other than that, it's a heck of a grand idea, having us pick up calls 3 doors down. And I wouldn't say much except it never has worked. But other than that, it's one heck of a good system.
Well, Ken's there. Maybe he'll join us.
All right. If Ken is there, I'm sure he's there. We're just somehow not hitting. We need to hit the right controller somewhere. I'm not sure. You're doing everything. I'm not blaming you. Well, Ken, I guess Ken Cherry, we would be talking to you about how I used to call you the Darth Vader of the gardening world. And it's funny. I used to have people send me notes and letters going, "Is Ken Cherry really the Darth Vader of the gardening world?" And I said, well, yes, he is. And since I gave him such a hard time, he actually came around in studio one time and came onto the set with me just to go, yeah, I wanted to say, hey, I'm not really the Darth Vader. I'm not really the Black Thumber of the world. And so we had a little fun doing that show. It was a simple show, 3 cameras in studio. And I had my first director was a guy named Bill Stoltz, who had been at Channel 3 from almost the beginning at WEDU. And he was just a great guy, too, like Ken is. But he was a little different. He had gone through being a prisoner of war during World War II. And he was a Dutchman. And he'd always come around and going, "Dumb good show, dumb good show." And let's see if Ken is available now. Ken, I know you're there. It's just we're connecting the A to the B. And you know all about that since you were a director on television, how technical problems can and almost always do show their gremlin faces from time to time. But you can just pop in when they pop you out of wherever they have you. Somewhere you're in cyberland, I am sure. And we hear things. I hear myself a little bit, so I'm not sure what we've got going on there. But for the rest of you, if they may want to call in and say, hey, this is our last show, and I think I know why now. September 17th, 2023, 1-877-969-8600. And I'll be talking to Mr. Steve, see if we can't get him on the old credit line on this one.
Yeah, well.
813-289-1860 is the number you could call in. I don't know if it'll make much difference since we can't seem to get Ken from A to Z, but maybe give Joe a call. He likes to be hassled in the morning. Say, hey, Joe, what do we have here? Where are those long string and a can, 2 cans that we have?
And yes.
We have something there. I don't know what that was.
We did, didn't we? Yeah.
Something was there for a
maybe
second.
Ken can hear us now.
I don't know. Maybe he can. We'll see. I started to hear something.
Ken?
Maybe that's a national feed we're picking up. I don't know. I used to sometimes kick the toggle switches, and I used to like that too, because then I could turn it on and off and hit the button for the commercials. Did it all on one side. That was fun.
Well, you got this, Ken. You got this, Ken. So you got one.
I got 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
You're betting 500 on Ken.
Yeah, I mean, if that's my batting average in Little League was 1 out of 2. So, Ken, there. Maybe Ken's
somebody else is calling in.
Maybe we got someone else, and we can get them through. Or maybe they'll sit in cyberspace too. It's possible. Anyway, so we've got 1 and 2. We've got Ken there. I'm sure is still there, but we'll still try to make that happen. We've had a little bit of problem because I guess we weren't taken out of the recorded show because it wasn't really a recorded show. This is a live show, and so that's caused us a little bit of technical difficulty. But we've got that 813-289-1860. We'll go ahead and load these lines up. So even though we can't get to you, it's nice that you know that you're there. And Ken can probably say hello to you from his studio 3 doors down. So that's not too bad. And I will say that you can contact us. You can go to the Ask ASK, MR, Green, and then Thumb.com. You can send me pictures of your trees or your shrubs or your roses. I've had some people sending me some pictures of their black spot, and some of the insects are still coming on pretty strong because it's still 90 degrees out there, which means aphids and scales and mealybug and mites all are having a field day. And that is just, how things are kind of working there. When it's really hot, insects really can be a problem. Fungal problems.
Peril, if
can be a real problem. And I think that's probably the recorded show in the background that you probably have running at the same time. I don't know. But if you want to send us a question, even though I won't be here doing radio after the next 2 weeks, you can still contact me. We still have some podcasts. Some of our sponsors actually were looking more for podcasts than they were anything else. We've got some HD cameras. I've got Sony mics. I've got a studio built so we can actually turn out television if we need to. We can turn out something that is quite good as far as something you can use in your own needs for online. I'm always amazed at people who put up stuff that, it's a handheld iPhone, which isn't so bad, except, it's kind of blurry because they're usually walking and talking. and you're going, okay, a minute or so of that is bearable, but it's not good television. It's not really a good podcast, but people do it, and I guess they figure the average person doesn't know that that's not good quality. But, that's what we have. I mean, there's 10,000 outlets out there to get information, and a lot of them aren't too good. But, of course, I've enjoyed the radio experience for the last years. We worked with so many good folks. I worked with Jack, worked with Ted.
Well, I can tell you the other caller wanted to know, when should they be pruning?
When should they be pruning? Okay, well, you can be
I'll be the translator.
You can be the translator. If you want, and I can't see you because of the thing, but you can actually give me the signals. You can trim some things back now. I just trimmed off some of my avocado, some of the bottom. The fruit's off now. I've lost my last avocado. And it was like I was mowing around it, and it was really difficult for me to mow. I thought, I'm going to get knocked off my rider trying to get underneath these lower branches. So I took the saw and undercut it first and then cut up from the bottom so you don't get it makes a nice clean cut. And I thought, why not make it so I can mow around my avocado? I'm going to lose a few avocados because I'll lose those branches, but I won't get killed by getting knocked off my mower, and it'll be a whole lot smoother. So, yes, that's a time. I had some hibiscus that I've trimmed back some. Yes, you'll lose some blooms for a bit, but otherwise your hibiscus wind up being, 8 feet tall. Normally, I trim back about a third at a time. You may want to trim out. I need some camphor trimmed. It's coming down. I don't know if I would have planted my camphor tree. It was there when I got there. It's a beautiful tree, but camphors, I've not really had the invasive problem. I did have somebody, I did a segment on camphors one time on television, and one of the extension agents called me and said, "How dare you show a tree that could be invasive?" And I thought, well, we don't do that to people. Why do we do that to plants? You could be more of a problem than you're helping. But, I don't know, a lot of plants, I used to look at mosquitoes and go, gosh, why did God ever invent mosquitoes? And then I thought about it. A lot of bats that are out eat them. A lot of other insects eat other insects. So mosquitoes are actually a food source for, now, if there's any bright side to it, for a lot of other creatures, and the whole cycle kind of works. But I used to think, gosh, God doesn't make mistakes. Why would he come up with something that bites and transmits diseases? And in fact, if you want to take any one animal, mosquitoes have killed more people than any other animal. And you go, well, it can't be. Well, it's a tiny little thing. Well, they transmitted things like malaria and other fevers and dengue fever, and you name it. There were so many diseases that have been sent, encephalitis, other viruses that have been the bird flu and other things that have been transferred by, the mosquito or by fleas. And certainly the plague, which wiped out about, a third to a half of known Europe at the time, was mostly because of fleas. I always thought it was funny. Now, a lot of women like to have cats, and I have a cat, and I like my cat some of the time. The cats tend to keep rodents down. Rodents seem to have more fleas than cats, and so the rats were blamed for spreading a lot of the plague. So, when we talk about fleas and things, cats also can get fleas. Today, luckily, we have some chemicals that you can put on your dogs and cats to keep those fleas down to a minimum, and that can be a good thing. So I'm okay. We will keep that in mind. Okay, 46. Making myself a note here. We are talking about some of the insects that are out there. We basically are doing a service now where we're treating trees, oak trees. If you've got an old laurel, you've got an old water oak, I almost guarantee you've got some problems going on that tree. Now, you can put your head in the ground and be an ostrich and say, no, I know there may be a problem, but I don't want to deal with it. You'll either deal with it now, or let me tell you how you can have, someone like Stafford's Tree Service will be glad to come take that tree down. Now, Kelly is really progressive, and she'd like you to keep those trees alive, and that is to her credit. So as much as Kelly doesn't mind taking your tree down if you have to with her great crew, she would rather you keep those trees alive, and then she can come out and thin them out and trim them out, and you've got dead wood or branches going down. Why should we have trees? Well, we need them because they give off oxygen, and they're taking in carbon dioxide. Everybody's saying, well, what do we do about the carbon problem? Well, you plant more trees because those trees will help make things better. So we want to make sure that you know that. We want to tell you, of course, to stay with us as the plant talk and real estate talk continues right here on News Radio, I should say 860, The Answer.
Web at AskMrGreenThumb.com. At Dream It Real Estate, we're a different kind of real estate company. We embolden our clients to dream their biggest dreams and partner with us to make those dreams come true. Our emphasis is on team building with clients who become friends for a lifetime. For more information, please go to dreamitrealestate.co or call or text James DeFreitas at 727-254-7127. Dream It Real Estate is always encouraging our clients to dream big with us today.
Why choose Stafford Tree Service? Is it because they're experienced, have the latest equipment, and friendly professional personnel? Absolutely. Stafford's positioned themselves as a leading tree trimming company in all of Tampa Bay. With honest professionals and competitive pricing, they'll earn your trust too. In business for over 15 years, Stafford Tree Service is licensed, bonded, and insured to provide you the very best tree trimming experience. Call today, 727-546-8786, 727-546-8786. On the web at staffordtreesvc.com.
Biophilia, our innate attraction to other living things. It's why people love plants. And around Tampa Bay, Plants, that's Plantz, is bringing nature inside, in workspaces and homes by delivering beautiful foliage plants. Our plants increase oxygen and filter out pollutants, reducing stress and improving productivity. And get you in touch with your biophilic side. Go to plantz.us.
Get ready for International Diamond Center's biggest ever designer bridal event, featuring the entire collections from the nation's top 2 designers. Tacori and Verragio come together on the IDC stage next weekend, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. See hundreds of new spectacular rings and get 36 months zero-interest financing. See the entire collection from Tacori, exquisite handcrafted rings from true artisans in California. And coming in from New York, see all the latest from Verragio, unique, distinctive, and personalized. Find the ring of your dreams and enjoy 3 years zero-interest financing. Plus, at this event, when you buy any Tacori or Verragio ring, IDC will give you a $500 gift card. Buy the matching wedding band and get a $1,000 gift card. Don't miss this remarkable opportunity to see and compare the world's top 2 ring designers side by side. And let IDC's experts help you match up the most perfect diamond for the ring you fall in love with. Don't miss this unprecedented event next weekend, September 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, exclusively at International Diamond Center in Tampa, Clearwater, Lakeland, and Sarasota. Approved credit.
The following program was pre-recorded for broadcast at this time.
And
welcome back to the Ask Mr. Green Thumb.
Actually, the show is not pre-recorded this time. This is a live show. I did see my buddy Martin Marcus, I think, was going to try to contact me here. I was going to put Martin on too, but since we can't get Ken in, we've got Ken in studio here. Our Ken Cherry, I apologize. I wanted to have you on as my old director from my days at PBS, and apparently that cannot occur. But that is, well, when you're doing live radio, you're kind of like up on the tightrope, and anything that can go well will. And I'd like to say this problem never domestic at a bar, and the guy hit him with a cue.
Well, what was that?
Oh, we were going back to to something that's an old show.
Oh, yeah. I see. Okay.
It's a recorded
right.
show.
Oh, I see.
Well, I think we were talking actually about we had. I was going to have Martin Marcus on sometime too, but I don't think you could try to call him, but I don't think we can pull him in, can we, Ken? No.
Call out?
Can someone call in? Call out?
See, I hear something in the background, so he can't hear us. That's the problem.
They can't hear us.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, we might get Joe on the line, but it's almost too late. 1-877-969-8600 or 813-289-1860. We'll give out the numbers. Not that it'll make much difference, but anyway, well, Ken, I guess you're going to be with me until the top with the good doc coming up. I always love Doc Handelman. He is a wealth of knowledge. He's like an Encyclopedia Britannica all rolled into one. And one of my favorite shows here on AM 860.
Smartest guy I know. I'll tell you that.
He is sharp. Actually, I wouldn't have minded if I had Martin Marcus on, because he is also a sharp guy who he was a chiropractor. But you say, well, chiropractor, still one of the smartest men I've ever come across, and a great martial artist. We just learned recently that our old sensei, Frank Gorman, died, which I was hacked that I didn't get to know about it until the other day. And apparently he died some time ago. But for many of the practitioners out there who ever worked with Frank, he was one of the kindest, one of the most knowledgeable, and one of the best karate senseis that I ever was around. And he used to say, look, I need to work with white belts on up. Those are the most important times. White belts, yellow belts, green belts. And I thought that was great. I went to another dojo one time, and there was a guy he was really good, but he used to go, well, until you get your green belt, you're not worthy of my time. And I kept thinking, yeah. As a teacher, and I've been a teacher in horticulture for a long time, I thought, not really the right message. And one of the reasons I quit going to that dojo, because I thought, yeah, you're pretty good. You'd be the best guy to help clean out a bar, but are you in it for the right reasons? Do you have, what I think it's supposed to be about? And the answer was no for there. The answer for here, of course, is that we are talking a little bit about, the fall is here. I know everybody's going out to get their pumpkin lattes and things of that nature. And yes, if you get a nice pumpkin spiced iced latte, you can pretend it's fall, but it's still 90 degrees out there. It does seem like, of course, the days are already starting to change, and that will change our temperature a little bit. And in fact, I guess what I'll have to do sometime in the future, maybe I'll do a podcast with Ken Cherry, and we'll do something that we're in control of and that we can have up that you'll actually be able to listen to. But I won't beat the station too hard. Just a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm feeling all guilty here now.
Just a little bit more for the next 8 minutes or so. Will I beat them severely? We'll give them a shota uch uch shokinzuki, which is a chop, back fist, one knuckle punch. But we'll be lining up most of the management for that.
No, I don't think it's their fault.
No, it's probably not.
No, it's something going on between me and our other producers here.
Oh, well, it is life.
We'll be paying for it, but not you. Don't worry.
Well, yeah, I'm saying. All right. Well, luckily my show doesn't cost that much, so it isn't going to be that many months out of your salary to pay for my time today. So, that will be not really a serious problem. Do have my book, Stan DeFreitas's Complete Guide to Florida Gardening. We are talking about putting that into a paperback form. I've always resisted that because I liked the hardback book that we had, and we sold 500,000 copies. So we did something right. Had some great 300 color prints in the book. I still have a few of my old ones, which I'm kind of keeping like gold now because, when they're going to come out with a paperback, it'll be cheaper, but it won't be. I don't think it won't look as pretty. But we'll see if we do. If not, maybe I'll self-publish something on my own if the publisher doesn't get off center. We could do that as well. And they never like that when you decide to self-publish your own works, and I probably should because that's where the money is.
Right, exactly.
I think
many rock and roll bands have found that out the hard way.
Yeah, I think I made about $1 a book, even though I sold 500,000 books, which was good, but it's you're not going to be going, ooh la la, Green Thumb made its first billion right here in Tampa Bay, the rich and famous. But anyhow, well, you will find now is a good time to put out some of your plants. You can go to some of the nurseries. You'll see color. People asked me the other day, somebody asked me about azaleas. And I said, well, you can grow azaleas. I love azaleas. You need to make sure the soil is acidic, which means add a bunch of peat moss which you can get, and make it about half and half with your existing sand, and you'll have better results. You might want to do a pH test. In fact, I did some pH test about a week ago for a lady in New York City. She sent me some soil samples. I said, hey, send me $20 per sample and I'll do these testing. We tested it. Her pH was 2. It was too much on the acid side. Though she had a lot of peat moss, obviously, in organic matter. And maybe, Ken, you can be my interpreter once again. You can interpret that call and by sign language tell me what the caller was looking for, which is not really a problem. Anyway, we, of course, the idea of, the pH being off, if it's 2,2 acid or 2,2 alkaline, it kind of reminds me of your stomach. If you're 2,2 acid, you've got heartburn and you've got problems. If it's 2 alkaline, you need a certain level of acidity in your system to break down, especially proteins and things, to a usable form. All of us have millions and millions of bacteria in our system. Those bacteria are helping to break things down. And the same thing in your soils. You have millions and millions of bacteria out there and good guys that are helping to break down elements and release the nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, sulfur, magnesium, all of those elements which you need. And Ken, are you going to be my interpreter? And of course, I know you're getting ready pretty soon here for the good doc.
Yeah, I got to take off here.
So I know we did have another call there.
Yeah, they came and they left.
They came and they left.
Yep.
They came and they went. I know Martin was trying to get a hold of me, but I can't really.
I think that was who we were talking to there.
I couldn't talk to Martin because, the way things are. I will say that I've enjoyed being here at AM 860 most of the time.
Well, I've enjoyed working with you, Stan.
Yes, Ken, it's been fun.
Quarterly, monthly, whatever we do here.
We've been
live.
doing, normally I've been doing like two recorded shows, one live. And so that has been fun. It's been fun to do radio again. I'm kind of switching over to doing more podcasting. People can go to the Ask, ASK, Green, and then Thumb. That's ASK, Green, and then Thumb. You'll see some of our past podcasts. We're going to actually do a bunch more. We got down to our 2-minute warning. All right. And so we're going out right about 59, I imagine, even. And you'll point to me. And that will work. It reminds me of the old days. I remember
Taking cues from hand, yeah.
When I was at PLP, my board ups would hold up the city, like St. Pete, and the number that the caller was on. And it was by seat of your pants broadcasting, but that's what we didn't have computer screens back then. I mean, I guess people had computers, but radio had not really gone computer. We were using the old tape system and stuff, where you splice tape and you put tape together. I bet you did a little bit of that, Ken.
Oh, a ton of that.
And I used to bicycle one of my shows down to a station in Sarasota. I think it was WUSA. Was another little station that I was on down there for a good long time. And we also, of course, were doing some TV down in the area of one of the NBC affiliates down by Naples. We did that for some time too. Okay. Well, let me just say it's been real fun to be with you. I hope that you will go to the Ask Mr. Green Thumb site, askmrgreenthumb.com, and you can still send me pictures, which you have in the past. You'll send me questions. If you're looking for selling a house, Dream It Real Estate will be there for you. And, of course, that will be my son and myself. And as I used to always say, my good buddy Ted Webb, Henry Ruiz used to say, go out and live it up. And, all right, we're going to continue a little longer. We're at 59. How far down in 59 are we going? Anyway, okay, well, you'll tell me when you want me to go out. Just give me a little point there. And Ken, say hey to Dr. Bill for me.
Will, Stan.
I always love Dr. Bill. Tell him I always enjoy his humor and his, he should have been a history professor, except they don't make any money. But
but they have tenures usually, so
So we do thank you for being with us.
It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you, Ken. Bye.
MrGreenThumb.com.
Tampa Bay's only conservative station.